What if the biggest thing holding you back isn't your competition, your equipment, your experience, or even your talent? What if it's the way you're approaching the game itself? Because the difference between people who stay stuck and, people who suddenly level up is often not a massive breakthrough. It's a shift in how they think, they train, they prepare, they execute. And once that shift happens, everything changes. The same amount of effort starts producing better results. The same hours become more productive. The same opportunities become more valuable. And this will change your game because it changes the foundation everything else is built on. Most people spend their time focusing on the outcomes. They obsess over winning, making money, getting views, landing clients, gaining followers, or achieving a specific result. And the problem is that outcomes are delayed. They happen after work. They happen when your entire focus is on outcomes, and frustration becomes inevitable because you are constantly judging yourself based on things that haven't happened yet. High performers focus differently. They focus on inputs, they focus on actions they can control today, and they ask better questions instead of asking, how do I become successful? They ask, what action does a successful person repeat every day? And that shift sounds small, but it changes everything. And the moment you stop chasing outcomes and start mastering inputs, the progress becomes far more consistent. Another game-changing concept is understanding that repetition, it beats the intensity. Most people attack their goals in bursts. They get excited, go all in for a week, burn themselves out, and then disappear. Then they wonder why they never gain that momentum. Consistency, sorry, I got a cold. Consistency is more powerful than occasional intensity. A person who improves slightly every day will outperform someone who works incredibly hard once in a while. This applies to fitness, business, content creation, learning, and nearly every other skill. The best performers aren't necessarily the most motivated, they're the most consistent. They remove the emotional decisions making the process and simply execute. And one of the biggest mistakes people make is waiting until they feel ready. They believe that confidence comes first and the action comes second, and in reality works the opposite way. Confidence is earned through action. Nobody starts as an expert. Nobody begins fully prepared. And the people who improve the fastest are willing to look inexperienced while they learn. Every expert was once a beginner who kept showing up. Every successful creator was once posted content nobody watched. I got lots of them. Every skilled athlete once struggled with basic fundamentals. Progress belongs to the people and to those who move forward before they feel ready. Another thing that changes the game is understanding the power of attention. Your attention is one of your most valuable resources. Wherever attention goes, improvement follows. And unfortunately, most people allow their attention to be scattered across dozens of distractions every day. The notification, the endless scrolling, the random entertainment, the unnecessary drama, and the constant interruption, they steal your focus. And the results is shallow effort. Deep works become impossible, and if you want dramatic improvements in performance, learn to protect your attention. A focused hour can outperform several distracted hours. And the ability to concentrate on one meaningful task without interruption is becoming increasingly rare, which means it is becoming increasingly valuable. There's also a massive difference between being busy and being productive. Many people spend entire days working but accomplish very little. Activity creates the illusion of progress, productivity creates the actual progress. And the key is identifying high impact action. Not every task matters equally, and some actions they produce significantly greater results than others, and the challenge is having the discipline to prioritize what matters most. Ask yourself a simple question: if I could only accomplish one thing today, what would move me closer to my goal? What would it be? Start there. Too many people spend their energy on each easy task while avoiding important ones. Another principle that changes the game is embracing feedback instead of avoiding it. Most people take criticism personally. They see the mistakes as evidence and that they are failing, and high performers that view mistakes differently. They see them as information, and every mistake reveals a weakness, and every weakness identifies an opportunity for improvement. If you remove your ego from the process, feedback becomes one of the fastest paths to growth. And the people who improve rapidly are usually the people who are willing to learn rapidly. They do not waste energy defending weakness. They work on eliminating them patience. They work on eliminating them. And patience is another overlooked advantage. We live in a culture that celebrates overnight success. But most meaningful achievements, they take far longer than people expect. And this creates a dangerous cycle. People start strong, expect immediate results, and become disappointed and quit. And the individuals who ultimately win understand that progress is often invisible for the long periods of time. Skills develop gradually, audiences they grow gradually, businesses expand gradually, and strength it develops gradually. There's often a long period where effort appears disconnected from results, and the people who keep going during that phase are usually the ones who eventually succeed. Another powerful shift is learning to compete with yourself rather than everyone else. Comparison is one of the fastest way to destroy that motivation. There will always be someone ahead of you, someone with more experience, more resources, and more advantages. And if your motivation depends on being better than everyone else, you will constantly feel behind. And instead, measure your progress against your previous performance. Are you better than you were last month? Have you improved your skills? Have you increased your discipline? Are you making smarter decisions? And that personal improvement is a far healthier, more productive benchmark than consistent or constant comparison. And the next concept that changes the game is understanding the leverage. Successful people learn how to make their effort go further. They use systems, technology, habits, and processes to multiply the results instead of solving the same problem repeatedly. They create solutions that continue working instead of relying entirely on motivation. They build that routine instead of making endless decisions. They create systems that simply simplify the decisions. The leverage allows you to achieve more without constantly increasing your effort. Another major difference maker is taking ownership. Many people spend years blaming the circumstances. They blame their schedule, their environment, their upbringing, their competition, or their luck. And while obstacles are real, blaming them rarely improves anything. Ownership creates power, and the moment you accept the responsibility for improving your situation, you regain control. You stop waiting for rescue and start building that solution. That mindset alone can completely change the direction of a person's life. And finally, understand this. The biggest breakthroughs often happen right after long periods of frustration. Most people quit too early because they assume slow progress means no progress. They fail to recognize that growth is often accumulating beneath the surface, and skills are developing, experience is growing, and lessons are being learned, and the momentum is being building. And then suddenly, the results appear, and from the outside, it looks like overnight success. But in reality, it is the visible reward of invisible effort. And if you remember only one thing from this, remember this. Stop looking for a single secret that changes everything and start mastering the fundamentals that improve everything. Focus on your inputs and stay consistent. Protect your attention, seek feedback, embrace your patience, build the leverage, and take ownership. These principles work across every field and every goal. Master them, and you'll discover that the game hasn't changed around you. You've changed. And that's what changes the whole game. Thanks for watching today. If you found value in today's video, please subscribe. We're looking to build this channel. Without that subscription base, we just can't do that. So if you would, please do so. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. And I hope you have a good day.